Hey everybody, it's Steve and welcome to the greatest summer ever. And today we have a special surprise for you. Going to share with you an award-winning margarita recipe, and we're going to make it live so you can see every step, because there are some very important things I want you to keep in mind as you're making these competition-proven margaritas. Okay, so there are three things I want you to keep in mind when making your margarita. This has worked for me so many times and it is proven to be a winner if you're ever going to enter a margarita competition. I've entered dozens of them and I'm undefeated with this recipe. So, first thing to keep in mind is the lime. You would think a lime's a lime, right? It's a green fruit, cut it up, put it in, what's the problem? Wrong. You have to choose the right type of lime. So, it's important to notice the difference between these two. See how this one is smooth and shiny, and just the skin kind of has a little bit of a give to it when you squeeze it. And this one is shaped like a football, and it's rough, and it's just, you can tell the rind on that lime is way too thick. I promise you this one has more juice and it's going to be a better flavor once you cut into it. And I've found that this type of a technique, getting into the lime, is really important. So look at it. Look how nice and thick and juicy the inside of that lime is. That's what you want in your margarita. And also, it's important to keep in mind, you want to get as much juice out of that lime as you can without squeezing the rind. And that's important because the rind is very bitter. And a lot of people make the mistake of just crushing the crap out of that thing, and you get a lot of that bitter juice in there. We want to avoid that. So what we're going to do is top each of these lime halves like so. So what we've done, we've got the original cut, and then we've topped the lime as well. And then just take your standard lime squeezer, plop in your lime half, bring in your shaker, and the kind of shaker you use is really irrelevant. This one happens to be a nice metal one, but if you have a plastic one, that works as well. We're just going to take ice. Fresh ice is important. Dump that in, and then we'll start adding our lime juice. So give it a good squeeze. Look at all that juice flowing in there. Squeeze it once and stop. You don't want to over squeeze it, right? So look, the rind is still in place and all the juice has come out of it. Let's do the other one. Wide side down in the squeezer. Bring in the top. Squeeze it. Look at all that juice flowing. Oh, this is going to be a great margarita. And you want to do an entire lime for each margarita. And we're going to share the actual measurements for the recipe here in a minute. All right, now the next most important thing is the tequila that you choose for your margarita. Now there are three types of tequilas generally. There's Blanco, which is aged less than a year. It's also branded as white or silver tequila. And generally that's what people use in their margaritas. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's two other types of tequila I want you to consider. Another type is called añejo, and that is aged in oak barrels for at least a year, sometimes longer than that. And it actually adds a very robust and spicy oak-infused flavor to the tequila. And that's generally something people would sip on its own as a standalone tequila. And then finally, you have reposado. And that's actually what I prefer because it's a perfect blend of the Blanco and the añejo in that it's aged in oak barrels for about 2 months to a year and adds some really nice complex flavors to it, like vanilla, caramel, oak, and it gives it a little bit more personality. And that personality comes through in the margarita. All right, so the ratio is extremely important, so please pay attention here. And again, we'll post the recipe at the end of the video. 2.5 shots of reposado tequila. 1, 2, and about a half. And I'm going to keep these ratios very simple to remember and basic so that you all can follow it without having to look up recipes all the time. The next ingredient is very common in margaritas, is triple sec. And again, this one is not brand specific. There's all kinds of flavors of triple sec out there. This one just happens to be a really nice smooth liqueur that has proven to be very consistent and good in the margaritas that we make. I use about half a shot of triple sec. And then the next ingredient is curacao. And curacao is very similar to triple sec, but it adds a little bit of an extra kick to it that I like to add to the margarita. And again, about half a shot of the curacao. You just dump that on in there. And then the final thing is the agave syrup. Now, you could substitute simple syrup for this. I prefer the agave syrup because the tequila is 100% agave. So it's from the same plant, maintains the same flavor profile, and this is actually sweeter than table sugar. So you don't need a whole lot of it. So we're gonna just kind of line the bottom of the shot glass with the agave syrup. About like so. And that's really all you need because you don't want to over sweeten your margarita. Now, if you prefer a really sweet margarita, absolutely add a little more, but you don't need a lot of this stuff because it is super sweet, like me. Okay, and the final and very important step that you need to do to make the perfect margarita is to ensure that you shake the heck out of it. And the reason why is that you just added a lot of sugar to your mix. Sugars need to be broken down, and the only way to do that is to shake it really thoroughly and get it all blended in with the liquor that's inside of your shaker here. So here we go. Let's just start shaking. And the final step is to pour it out and enjoy it. This is the best part of all. You worked hard for this drink. Your family, your friends, everybody is going to enjoy that. Oh, perfection. And oh, by the way, all the ice that was in the shaker, pour it straight into the glass. A lot of people strain and all. No, because you get the perfect blend of ice and liquor and sugar and lime. Cheers, everybody. Enjoy. Wow. Have a great summer, everybody.